President Trump's pro-business agenda has been welcome news for U.S. manufacturing icons like Boeing. Simply put, the company's stock has been on a tear since Election Day. It is up better than 80%. It is leading the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Boeing CEO Dennis Muilenburg told me exactly why they are succeeding, showing solid cash flow, and why he believes there's a lot more room to grow.
Maria, we're seeing a very strong aerospace growth market globally. We take a look at our market space. It's a $7.5 trillion marketplace over the next 10 years. Translating that into airplanes, we see the world needing about 41,000 new airplanes over the next 20 years. And those are distributed around the globe. We also see strong passenger growth around the world, growing at about 7% a year, clearly outpacing GDP. And as we connect the world through our advanced airplanes, that's fueling that continued growth in passenger traffic. In Asia alone, every year now, we're seeing 100 million new passengers, people that fly for the first time. And that's fueling the growth of this industry. And as a result, we're ramping up production. We'll build about 750 commercial airplanes this year. And by the end of the decade, we'll be well north of 900 airplanes per year.
So I guess your opportunity is as much as your challenge, keeping up with this incredible demand, right, through production rate increases. I mean, you've got demand all over the world, U.S. as well as Asia and Europe. Can you keep up with what's going on outside, given the global story is improving quite a bit?
We can, but it's definitely a growth challenge for us. It's a great opportunity to ramp up our production lines. You know, today we have 5,700 commercial airplanes in backlog. That's about 7 years worth of firm orders. So our opportunity to translate backlog into top-line growth is very clear. For example, our 737 production line, we ramped up to 47 a month this year. Next year, we'll step up to 52 airplanes a month and then step to 57 a month in 2019. And we're seeing continuing market pressure to go even higher than that. So this is a tremendous growth opportunity for us, and really important now that we leverage this opportunity to invest in competitiveness and then continue to innovate for the future. And we're bringing some great new products to the market while we're ramping up.
I know that the president recently made that trip to the Middle East. He came back with $400 billion in deals, he said. He said that he's also expecting to do a lot of deals with this upcoming trip. Your company, a representative from your company, among others, are going to travel with the president to Asia this weekend. What are you expecting? What are the opportunities when you get to Asia with the president? You're going to be visiting places like Japan, obviously China. What's your expectation coming out of this trip?
Yeah, we have tremendous growth opportunities throughout the Asia-Pacific region, both in our commercial and our defense businesses. In China, we're very much looking forward to the president's visit. We'll be fully supporting that visit. As you recall, President Xi made a visit to the United States back in 2015 and visited our plants in Seattle. And at that time, we signed an order for 300 new airplanes for China. We're expecting similar kinds of volume opportunities here on this upcoming trip. So China is a very attractive marketplace for us. Of those 41,000 new airplanes that the world needs over the next 20 years, more than 7,000 of those are in China. We're growing there, we're growing fast, and we're doing it in a way that's adding value for China and also generating U.S. jobs.
So there's defense as well that I want to get into with you, because I know that the industry was just crushed by the sequester, and now in this budget, the president is trying to increase defense spending, but you've got the budget hawks basically saying, no, we can't do that. And recently we saw those accidents with Navy vessels. What's your take on the age of the U.S.'s fleet? What's your take on what's happening today in defense in terms of the need to modernize, given the amazing number of threats we face from North Korea to Iran and et cetera?
Yeah, Maria, I think this is a really important topic for our country, and sequestration over the last several years has really harmed not only our industry, but our national security posture. And if you talk to our defense customers at the Pentagon, you know, they see a real need for robust, long-term defense funding. And I think it's important that we find an alternative to sequestration. I do think the administration and frankly, both parties right now are coming together on the idea that we need to have a long-term, sustained defense budget. An alternative to sequestration is something that allows us to invest in modernization. As you said, the range of threats around the world are only adding to the importance that we make the right investments in defense, and we do it in a way that sustains our industrial base.
I mean, just this week, actually, there was a report that said the accidents that we've seen in the sea for our military were avoidable.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that the fleets that we're asking our servicemen and women to operate are aged and need to be upgraded. And the demand for doing that is very significant, and you see that across all of the services. We have airplanes that are flying today, for example, that we support that have been in service for decades, and it's time to modernize the fleets and also provide the support to our servicemen and women for support and training operations. And again, if we can do that with a long view, so that on the industrial side we can invest for the future and that our servicemen and women have the support they need on a daily basis, I think it's really important to our country, and both from a national security standpoint as well as what it can do for economic growth and jobs generation.
Dennis, with all of this, the company's success, you've been giving back. Let's talk about the charitable giving and what you've done this Veterans Day, giving out, what, $50 million in grants?
Yeah, this is one of the most exciting and fulfilling things we do. You know, as a company, we say our mission is to connect, protect, explore, and inspire the world through aerospace innovation. And one of the ways we do that is investing in our community, investing in our people. And today we're announcing that we're investing $50 million in charitable grants in 2018. That's focused on technology pipeline, talent pipeline for the future, and a big investment in our veterans. And I think it's so important to know our servicemen and women have done so much for our country, and it's important that we give back to them. Today we have more than 20,000 veterans working at Boeing and even more in our supply chain, and we want to make sure we're providing the training and support they need, both for our veterans and for their families.